Greetings from the Most High. Sure.
That's up.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, in
Greetings.
the building.
Introduce yourself, sis. Introduce yourself, sis.
Oh, my name is Rochelle, and I am just excited to be here. So, yeah. Do you want me to say them a little bit about who I am, or it's okay?
It's up to you. Whatever. I mean, we didn't do that, but if you want to.
Oh, no. I'm good then. No, I'm good. It's okay. Leave it right there. That's good.
All right. Well, everybody know this is Dre.
Ali.
Mr. Baba.
Ali in the building. Ali Baba in the building.
Greetings.
Yeah. Rochelle, where you from, actually?
I am from the most beautiful parish in Jamaica, St. James. And I just want to represent Montel Vernon girls because, we be beautiful all day, every day. Yeah, so just a big shout out to my high school.
Okay, that's beautiful.
All right.
Yeah. So we was gonna continue the conversation of hypergamy part 2, actually.
Yeah, hypergamy part 2.
Yeah, we'd love to have Rochelle's opinion and stuff like that on this.
First, let's make sure we all understand, just for the listener, what hypergamy is. So, Ali, can you tell us what hypergamy is?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you my definition, and then we Google the real definition. But my definition of hypergamy is, my understanding of it is that a woman is specifically looking for a man. Love could be involved, but not necessarily. It's mostly for financial security. What's your understanding of it, Dre? Or you want me to read the definition?
Well, I rather just go with what the definition is. And so when I look up hypergamy, it says hypergamy is a term used in social science for the act or practice of a person marrying a spouse of higher caste or social status than themselves. So that's what when I think of hypergamy, I'm going to use this definition as what I'm going to use to think about hypergamy.
Right. I just saw the the etymology of the word, and it says hyper, which means is of English origin, which means above, and gamos means marriage. So above and marriage.
Okay. So it's similar.
So gentlemen, are we just talking about women, or are we just talking about people? Because the definition is not specific to a gender. It's literally a broad definition. So could we talk about people who want to marry up? Not necessarily for love, but just because of the position that they will be able to get into.
Take it wherever you want to take it, girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's mostly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think that's mostly women that marry up. I don't really think men really super care about how much money women make like that.
I feel like in the older society, I agree with you 100%. But I feel in this new society, right, this new generation, right, millennials, right, a lot of people, I feel the men are now more effeminate in a lot of ways, and that also includes them taking a step back, and if they can find somebody to support them, then they're going to do that. I have heard many stories of men who definitely want to be the stay home, right? A lot more dads are now staying home with the kids while the woman works. A lot of men are now, like, okay, I don't really need to work because my wife is making so much money and she takes care of me. And I've heard many more stories now, not when I was growing up, but now I think the tables have actually turned.
So I do know, I guess within the last 20 years, you started to hear of men being stay-at-home dads and so on and so forth. And that's partially because, when you did the math, the wife or, significant other made more money, and it kind of just made sense for them to stay home and take care of the children because he made less money. Are you saying that that's the reason, or are you saying that men are just getting lazy and leaving it up to the woman to be the provider?
All right. So before I answer your question, I'm going to make a statement. The number one, how can I say this? The number one, like the category of people that is now the most educated, highest paid in America right now, that number is growing, and it's all Black women, right? And there's a reason for that. For number one, a lot of Black men, for whatever reason, it's a lot of, from the classroom to the prison system, a lot of Black men in the United States, because they went to prison, they're unable to get the kind of job that they would get if they weren't into that system, right? A lot of times, because of whatever examples were around them, a lot of times they did things that were not for their best interest, and therefore they were not able to accomplish certain things, so their job level, again, is not where it needs to be, right? So because of that, a lot of women grew up in single-parent homes because their dads weren't there, or for whatever reason. And a lot of women decided, listen, we're not going to be able to depend on anybody because we have never been able to depend on anyone. So because of that, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be the best I can be. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to be the first person into college for my family and whatever. So the mindset of the Black woman has been one where it's always success driven, right? Like money driven, whatever it is, right? So because of that, and you're not finding male companionship in many times that's up to your salary, or they're making anything close to what you're doing, a lot of women have said, if I'm able to take care of the family, hold it down, and you can stay home and take care of the kids, why not? If you love me, if you respect me, if we're going to make this work, I have no problem in doing that. So I think by saying all of that, I think I've kind of answered the question. So I don't think it's necessarily men have become lazy or whatever. I just think the system have created such a divide when it comes to the money that male and female makes, especially the Black family, right? All of that has caused this shift where men are now making, they're not able to compete with their female counterparts.
Okay.
So then, where is this? There is a huge pandemic going on of people thinking that women are out after men trying to get money, right? And we had an episode before where we played a clip of a young lady who pretty much said that she only cares about herself and she wants to make sure that any relationship she's in with any guy, he takes care of everything, he pays for everything, and that's how it's supposed to be. So you're now offering a different opinion on the same subject. So you're thinking that there isn't a huge contingent of women out there who is looking for men to take care of them. Is that what you're saying?
So I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying there's several sides to the coin, right? So I'm not saying that you don't have women out there that want men to take care of them. Absolutely.
Is that the majority?
No, it's not the majority. And again, as I said clearly, these millennials, it's a whole different generation. So you have to understand that it's not just the millennial women who are thinking like that. The millennial men are also thinking like that. And that is why younger men are dating older women and younger women are dating, which that has always been, but I feel like it's even more now because the younger men, they know that the older women are more like, oh my gosh, I really want to get in a relationship. I really want to make this family work. I don't care if you work or not. Just come, let me have these kids and just take care of them. Right? Especially if that clock is ticking for that woman and she's successful and she already has everything made. Literally, what is that man really bringing to her life more than giving her some kids and just taking care of what he needs to do? Right? And I'm not belittling the position of men, but these women are in such a position, just like if a man is a millionaire, right? He really doesn't need a woman to help him financially. However, there are other things that you need a partner for. And I think that goes both ways. Is there a majority either which way? I don't know. But I have seen all sides of that coin that I'm telling you right now. And I did hear that with the young girl. I did hear that. And I thought, just by her talking, she's very young, very immature. She sounds very hurt. She sounds as if a lot of trauma has happened in her life. And that's why she's just like, maybe she has abandonment issues as well. And that's why for her, she needs somebody to be her father. Because who she was looking for is a father. That's not a partner. She wanted a father figure.
Right. Let me add on to this. It's cool to bring up that black women are the most paid women and higher earners than black men. But let's also remember that with that higher education comes a higher amount of debt that you're carrying on you at the same time. I just looked up a stat according to educationdata.org. Black and African Americans have the highest debt above 60,000 at 17%. And the next closest is American Indians at 8%. So that's something to think about also. In the case of hypergamy, I think of it, it's a double-edged sword because I think of it in two ways. You can have a woman who goes crazy and gets very demanding from being inside and not seeing the competition out there that she has to deal with, and can start trying to abuse the man and his kindness and take him as weakness. And on the flip side of the coin, you can have a woman who helps a man financially, and then the man can lose that woman to probably competition of other men in the street. So it's definitely a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? I think there's a fine line in the middle, which is where if we're both trying to work on something bigger, we can both work on something bigger together. We're gonna take our money from these jobs and we're gonna make it so you and I never have to clock in ever again, and we can help each other. To me, true love is not just receiving gifts 24/7 and saying, yes, I love my man because he showers me with gifts. True love is if a woman can pick up and spend the same amount of money and is willing to take the same risk to invest in the man that she loves as that man will on her. But I'm just a kid from the Bronx, so what do I know?
So based on the last episode, I walked away from that episode thinking, and I don't know if the listening audience had the same takeaway. I walked away from that thinking that there was a pandemic out there of women who all they want is a man to take care of them, and they didn't want to, as you would say, Ali, have a whole lot of skin in the game, right? They just wanted to be taken care of, right? and we went into different instances where it seemed almost unfair, right? Because we're talking about how they want a man to go out and do everything and pay for everything, and then you were talking about making sure you had your peace when you get home. Now, having this second discussion, I'm confused because it sounds like the takeaway from this discussion is that there isn't a pandemic of women out there that are looking to take advantage of men. Please clear it up between you guys. I mean, you were on the last episode, Ali, and Rochelle, you're now defending women, saying, nah, women make more money than men. So, what about the men who've been sitting home on their laurels, right? For whatever reason, whether it's they agreed or whatever. So it sounds though. So, Ali, question to you. Do you think there's a pandemic of women out there who is looking to take advantage, and I'm using take advantage facetiously, but looking to take advantage of men? Or, Rochelle, do you think that there isn't a pandemic of women out there looking to take advantage of men, and that it's more balanced? Like, women are out there making more than men, and they're compromising to deal with it. Well, I would consider it a compromise to deal with a man who's making less, and I don't want to belittle men that make less than their women, but make less, and so they stay home, right, and take care of the kids while she goes out to work. Question to both of you guys.
Rochelle?
Okay. So, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know, because I know women who expect their man to do everything for them, right? And I know guys who they don't care if a woman wants to spend all the money on them either, right? So I don't think it's a pandemic either which way. I think it's pretty much cut even. And I think what we're seeing now out of the pandemic is that we're seeing a whole lot of people who have become dependent on anybody that will help them, right? I think Ali raised this point earlier, that a lot of people prefer to stay home because they make more money staying home than working, right? And even Andre, you said something earlier, and a light went off. You said, but is it that you can't find a job or you don't want to do the work that's there? But my question to you would be, if I go to work and I am working 9 to 5, I'm doing overtime, and I still cannot pay my bills, does it make sense I do that job? Or should I stay home and then let my spouse or my boyfriend, my girlfriend take care of me? What would be better for me? Which one do you think I'm going to take?
Right. I think that both can be true. Like, the police can be necessary, but also the police can be corrupt. I think that there is a pandemic if more than 1,000 women are thinking like this, if more than 10,000 women are thinking like this. Even men, if a man is thinking, yo, I can live off this woman and I'm gonna be good. There was just an article that came out, a man is getting paid $15,000 a month by a woman to do whatever she wants. That man is like, will he really get to exercise his masculinity? Will he be a leader in that relationship, or is he just being controlled by money? And certain people are loving it. Back in the days, a salary, one man's salary, could pay for a house and send his kid to a college while his wife was a stay-at-home. That's not the case now. You know what I'm saying? For some people, the majority of people, you know? It takes planning also. But I think that if you're with a woman that is giving, that is the most important part of love. If you're with a woman that's constantly taking, then when you're not able to give, if you forever for some reason were to come down sick, that woman would be on the next best train to what she perceives as success. Like, think about this. The most richest woman in America, I don't want to say the world, but in America, became that way from a divorce. Jeff Bezos' wife. I'm going to leave it on that note.
Well, all right. So
okay, hold on. Okay. So let's talk about Jeff Bezos' wife, right? So let's talk about her, because she was the one who actually helped him to even make Amazon. She was the backbone. She was the one with the vision. She literally did everything. He was just the face. Okay. Because we all know that if it was a woman who started Amazon, if it was her face, right, that was there during that time, the business would not have been what it is now. And you have to remember, the saying does go. Okay, you can. It's okay. You can agree to disagree. That's fine. However, I'm going to say something too to Ali's point. You said that back in the day on a man's salary, but what color was that man? Because not everybody was able to do that 9 to 5 and send their kids to school depending on the color of your skin.
Yeah,
some people were able to do that, right?
No,
so some people were able.
Andre said.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there, because back in the day, right? There are a lot of there have been movies made about men working in the GM plant, right? You know, owning their homes in Detroit, sending their kids to college all across the country. There have been, you know, even today, there are men out there who work for MTA, and I know of men that work for MTA and their wives do not need to work. So,
I agree.
And I'm talking black people. Like I'm speaking in reference to what you said about their skin color. Yes, it's true. White people have always been at an advantage when it comes to the salary, and so the husband can stay home and the wife can be a stay-at-home mom. But back in the day, black moms were also stay-at-home moms, a lot of them. So I can't.
What was the father doing? The father had a trade. No, hold on. The father had a trade. The father was working in factories. The father had a job. You have to remember that they took, hold on. You have to remember too, they took trade out of the high schools. Remember, most of our schools we had trade. The people, the students could choose to become a plumber, choose to become a carpenter, choose to become whatever they wanted to do. What did they do in the black schools? They took trade out and they started pushing for people to go to college. And then what did they do? They started raising the interest rates for college, and then the trading schools kind of went to suburb communities. So that's another way that they broke down the system. Now
where are you getting this stuff from?
Let me ask you a question. Do they teach any trade in most of the schools in New York? And I'm talking into the black communities.
Well, you ever heard of Job Corps? You ever heard of Job Corps?
No. Hold on. I am talking integrated into the curriculum of the high school. I'm not talking about Job Corps.
So, okay, fine. So since you want to discount Job Corps,
no, because no. Please remember that in every school, there used to be an opportunity for you to learn the trade in high school.
Yes,
so when you graduated, you literally went into internship into these trade facilities, right?
I understand.
And therefore, black men, black women could get viable jobs right off the bat from high school without, just like Ali said, without raking up
I get it.
students.
No.
Okay. All right.
So when they took it from the inner cities,
Mm-hmm.
I believe they also took it from the suburbs. They might have taken it a little bit later from the suburbs, but they did also take it from the suburbs. Now, as it relates to raising the interest rates on schools, they're not giving everyone who takes a student loan is paying an interest on their student loan. And I don't have any facts to make the statement that I'm about to make, but I don't think black people are paying a higher interest rate on their education than white people are paying on their education.
So I'm going to stop you right there.
If you go to what is it, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to go get your student loan, I think the interest rate is like a standard rate for everybody.
The Marab were both the same.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something in regards to this, right? So the interest rate is the same, right? But let me ask you, the majority of plumbing, the majority of carpentry, the majority of trade, right? Who owns the majority of these companies? What color are those people?
Let me.
When you go to the construction site, right? It's especially in the city. Let's just talk about the city. We don't even have to go to suburbia, right? When you go into New York City, the majority of the people, not the workers, not the little people down at the bottom that they employ, that are not even union members, right? I'm talking the owners who get the contracts, the people who actually have the license. What color are they?
Caucasian.
Okay.
Rochelle, this is
Let's
what I want to ask
white.
you, Rochelle. Rochelle, do you want a man to pay all of your bills?
We're way off of hypergamy right now.
Right, exactly.
But we can't, hold on. We cannot focus on that topic without looking at the root cause of why this is happening either which way. Because if we look at the root cause, then we will understand why is it that our men are preferring to stay home, why the women are like, listen, my dad was never there, and now I need a father figure who is going to take over his role in the form of, I don't care if it's a sugar daddy, I don't care if it's a man I don't care about, but I'm going to need the security because I never got it physically, so I'm going to need it financially. It is not. Hold on. It is not just something of an anomaly. It is literally it is literally the result of several things, and that is what we're trying to find out. Why is it? And that's what I'm trying to show you.
Rochelle, do you want a man to pay all of your bills? Why or why
I don't want
not?
a man to pay none of my bills.
Perfect.
What I do, I want a man who is going to support me and who is going to be there for me. Now, if he thinks that, hold on. If he sees a need and he's like, babe, I got you, then that's a real man. I don't need no man to do nothing for me. I work. I take care of myself. However, if I have a partner who is like, babe, I see you, I see what you're doing, and you know what? I'm going to do my part. You know what? I don't like to see you working so hard. So you know what? I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to pay this. I'm going to pay that. I'm going to pay whatever. I want to be like, babe, I appreciate you and I love you and I see your effort. And because of that, my love for you has grown. I don't want listen, I don't need none of that. I need a partner. I don't need no sugar daddy. I don't need no sugar baby neither. I just need a partner who is going to be there for me. And if they want to meet me halfway, that's fine. But I'm going to meet them halfway too, because that's who I am. That's who I have always grown up to be. I don't depend on nobody. I only depend on Jesus. And that's, I said what I said.
I don't know if I live in a bubble. Because
okay, tell us about your bubble.
I don't know a bunch of men staying out. Listen, I know that it exists because I've heard of it before. But I don't know a bunch of men staying at home while their wives are going out to work. And I don't know a bunch of women out there that's looking to have a man, pay, like I've always heard women say, what's mine is mine and what's his is mine. I've heard it before. But I don't know of a pandemic of that happening. And I also don't know of a huge cohort of men staying at home while their wives are out to work. Like I said, I do know it happened because I've heard of it. But I don't know of a whole heap of it happening. So where y'all are hearing and seeing all of this stuff happening? Like, if what you're saying, Rochelle, if what you're saying is something that happens every now and then we can't use that as a general basis for this conversation. And Ali, if what you're saying is something that also happens every now and then, because like I said, I don't know a bunch of women out there, and I know a lot of women. I don't know a bunch of, just like Rochelle said, most of the women I know work, and they're not looking for a man to come and swoop in and take care of them. I don't know if you know a bunch, like every woman you know is looking for a man to come in and sweep in and take care of them, but I don't know of those things. So I must be living in a bubble. Every man I know, like literally, every man I know work. Every woman I know work, whether they're married or not. So I must be in a bubble. And all these people that you guys are talking about, I don't know none of them. Either I don't know any of them, or you guys know a couple and are using it to generalize the whole conversation.
You have to remember that I work with a whole lot of people. So I see a whole lot of family dynamic that is not in our bubble, right? In my church bubble, that's a whole different set of people. In my work bubble, it's a whole different, diverse
and what do you see the
people.
Most of? What do you see the most of?
Which power dynamic? Do you want me to tell you what I see in the bubble that I work? I see men and women staying home and living off welfare. And I'm trying not to just fall into that stereotype. I'm telling you the truth. And I see them, I don't want to go too deep into it, but that's what I see. I see neither of them working, and they just live off the system. I see a whole lot of that. And I do see a lot of men not working, and the women are the ones actually working. Not working big jobs, but the women are the ones that are holding down the household while the man comes and goes as he please. And that's basically the majority of the dynamic that I see in my job.
So just so
I wouldn't call those people a man, though. I wouldn't call that man a man. That's a boy.
Hold on. I don't know if there's a whole heap of bias going on here. You just gave me two categories. You just gave me two categories.
I'm telling you.
We asked you what do you see? That's what we asked.
And I told you. I told you what I see.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
We asked you what you saw, and you gave us two categories. You said all I see is men and women sitting at home living off the system, or men sitting at home while the women go out to work. You telling me ain't none of the kids that's in the school their dads work? That's what you're telling me? Hold on.
No. You asked the majority. That's the majority. No, I do. Hold on. I do have students where I don't even see the mom. I see the dad. The mom is not in the picture at all. I just see the dads, and the dads are the ones holding it down without the mom at all. But those are, and it is beautiful, right? And I love that. Not to say, I don't love the mom too, but I love to, especially if it's a son, I want to see that father involved. I want to hear that. But rarely in my work, really, and I call home all the time, really in my work, do I call and it's both parents working together to make, it's either call the dad or call the mom, or whatever. It's never both of us are working together to make sure this child is a success. And it really breaks my heart.
This is what predominantly African American students?
No. So what's the demographic makeup? And
it's predominantly Spanish.
Off of hypergamy.
It's predominantly
in
Spanish.
In my household.
Then,
In my household.
Yeah.
If the school calls my house, they will always get my wife. If anything happens at school, my wife is always who calls. That doesn't mean the dad isn't involved. Just because you call home and you always talk to the mom, that doesn't mean that dad isn't around or involved. So when my wife gets off the phone, she gets off the phone with the school, she calls me right afterwards. So just because the mom is who you always talk to doesn't mean that she isn't calling the dad right after saying, hey, you need to talk to your son or your daughter because the school keep calling her, so on and so forth.
True that.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. But what I'm trying to show you, it's the situations that I'm talking about are the ones where mom should not have any contact with child or dad should not have any contact with child. Like, you do see that note. So you're not even allowed to call that parent because they have no contact with that child. And I've seen it for both moms and dads, right? I've seen it go both ways. So in that case, maybe they are talking, but literally you are told, like, even if the mom calls, you're not supposed to give any information for that child. They cannot pick that child up from school. Same thing with the dad. They're not allowed to pick that child from school, and they are not allowed to have any interaction with the child, or you don't need to call them because they have no part with that child. So I don't know if it's a court order or whatever, but those are notes that are literally on the file for students as well. But I get what you're saying, and that does make sense.
So if we're going to go back to hypergamy, so the takeaway from the conversation then is what? Because I'm like, just like our listeners, I want to make sure that I understand what the consensus of this conversation was. So you guys tell me what you got. What's the consensus you guys got from this conversation? Because I'm lost. Are we all gonna just walk away? Are we gonna just agree to disagree? And if that's the case, then I get it. I understand. But I don't agree with either one of you guys. So you guys tell me where you guys are standing.
I think if it's 10,000 or more, if it's 1,000 or more people that's almost like wanting somebody to pay your lifestyle just because you're giving them sex and a pretty face is almost like a victim mentality also. You know what I mean? It's blaming other people.
How did you get there?
I'm just saying is giving somebody else the responsibility as opposed to putting it on yourself. I'm comparing it in that way. And there's a whole bunch of female rappers that portray that say, yo, he gotta pay this, he gotta do that if I'm gonna take him seriously. You know what I mean? I'm not taking no guy seriously. But then they're saying that they meet that criteria because they look good. And now that brings a whole bunch of women into plastic surgery, getting their bodies done to meet this criteria so that a man can pay for them. And that's the pandemic right there.
So you, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying you stand firm that there is a pandemic of women out there.
Definitely.
And Rochelle, you're saying what?
So again, I don't believe there's a pandemic of women. I think it's the same number throughout history. I believe women have always, a matter of fact, the Bible says it, like the man should take care of the woman, right? The Bible says it clearly. However, due to everything that has happened over time, you still have those women who want to be showered and, they're always going to be there, right? However, I think the majority of women are working, right? The statistics have shown that. Ali said that earlier. The Black woman is the highest paid, right? They're the most educated group in the United States to date, right? So obviously you have a whole lot of Black women that are elevating themselves, that are not depending on a man to do anything because they are going out and they're making their own money moves. And they are willing to find men or to have partners that are not even making the salary that they're making. And they are looking for love and not necessarily money. And that's my stance.
So a couple of things. A lot of those women could fall in the category of my money is my money and your money is my money, right? Which then puts them in Ali's category, right? Because just because they're out there working doesn't mean that they're not looking for a man to come in and still take care of them. That's one. Two, there is a huge a cohort of women out there who their thing is, you got to make at least my money or more. And we're talking about educated women. I've seen conversations on different shows being had where these women are like, yeah, I'm educated, I put in the time, and I want a man that's making at least what I'm making or more. And these women are usually single because it's hard to find a man look, my wife has a cousin who moved to an entire new state, started to go to a church that was full of affluent folks to find a husband because she was not settling for a man that made less than a certain amount of money. And this is a nurse. She's a licensed nurse.
And she found it?
Not as far as I know. So just because the women are educated and are making good money does not automatically put them in this category that you put them in, Rochelle, that says, yeah, I'm making money now, so I need a man and he doesn't need to make as much. Like, I think what you're doing is you're judging the situation based on how you are as opposed to what's really happening. Because you didn't make these kinds of allotments in your argument, right? And these are things that everybody knows is happening.
I was actually listening to an episode of Kevin Samuels, and he actually talked about that, how women who are top earners, is actually harder for them to find a man who's a top earner because men usually have to date down when they're top earners because they're looking for a woman that's more oriented in family than, yo, I'm running this company and I'm going to be a CEO. Because it's like, then when are you going to have time for our family in the house? So it's kind of like a gift and a curse to be a high earner because then your standards go up and like the top, I think like the top only 20% of men earn that type of money to pay for a woman's whole lifestyle or something like that. So you have the a lot of percentage of women trying to get their whole lifestyle paid, and they're shooting at 20% of the men who can do that. And that's just you know what I mean? A crazy thing.
I guess we'll have to.
So hold on. So okay. So maybe this is just a little off topic. So what should a woman do? Should she go to school? Should she get educated? And I mean, that has nothing to do with a man supporting her or not. But it seems as if a woman is trying to, make better for herself, then, as you said, it's a gift and a curse. So what would your advice be to these women who are trying to go back to school? They're trying to do their PhD, their master's. They're trying to become top earners. Should they now say, you know what, I shouldn't be that, and let me just focus on trying to find a man instead? Like, what should a woman do in this situation?
Mr. Baba.
That's a great question. I love that question.
Go ahead, Mr. Baba.
I love that question, actually. I love that question. I think about this. When I'm in my deathbed, am I going to think about all the hours I put into work? No, I'm not. From a biblical standpoint, a man is supposed to focus on what can feed his family. From a biblical standpoint, a woman comes from that man's rib. So definitely her main objective should be, having a family and having kids.
Ooh.
If she wants that. If she
wants that. Let me ask you a question. So all
means,
these women...
Hold on. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That means not having a whole bunch of hot girl summers and trying to look for a man in your 30s. That means if you are a beautiful person and you want a man, that means picking that guy in college that's working his way up and not just being like, he don't have enough money now. I need to go for guys with more money. You know what I mean?
But you just said she shouldn't go to college. So where's she going to meet the guy in college?
Should go to college. I think a woman should go to college. I don't think that she should.
Why should she waste time? If you're saying that she should go to college,
she can meet an amazing man in college, for one. And
she
for
could meet
two,
an amazing man in the mall.
Yeah, it's a balance of you want to depend on a man, but not to the point where if he leaves you, you are dead in the water. It's a balance. You want to get college, but not to the point where you've been in college for 10 years and now you're $300,000 in debt. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. So, Rochelle, did you get an answer to your question? Because I'm confused now.
Yeah, me too. Because it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I don't think a woman should bury herself in college, and she should be family oriented.
So
she needs to be well-rounded.
Well-rounded. I don't think a woman needs 2-3 masters unless she doesn't want to have a family, and then that's beautiful. That's okay. But
what if she has a family and wants to go back to school, and now she has 2-3 masters?
That's kind of psychotic if you want to go back to school and you have 2-3 masters. You know what I mean? It's like
when
you're on your deathbed, will you go on?
No, she was saying, what if she already has a family and then she wants to go back to school?
If the kids are older, then definitely, yeah. Definitely. If you want to use that, if you want to help out your man, you see that your man held it down, and you want to help him out financially after the kids are a certain age, that's beautiful. But not to create bigger debt for the man to pay off. You know what I mean?
So, my rule in life is always do you. And whoever comes, and who don't come, don't come. To answer your question, Rochelle. So, if you want to go and get educated, go get educated. If you're going to find a man, you're going to find a man being educated as easily as you can find a man not being educated. I think a lot of the people, a lot of the women out there that are educated, high-earning women are women that their standards for what they're looking for in a man is so high, it's hard to find it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are not down to earth. A lot of people have these fairy tale ideas of what they want life to be, even though life is staring them in the face.
Right.
For instance, you make $60,000 a year, or you make $100,000 a year, whatever it is. Let's just say you make. Let me be reasonable, right? So the average family in America, the average family take home is about $60,000, I think.
Between both parents?
Yeah, like a family, a household take home.
Wow.
Would someone Google that real quick for me, please, just to make sure we're saying the right information. Right? So let's, just for argument's sake, until we get the real figure, let's say the average take home is $60,000, right? So that means the man and the woman is taking home $60,000. Now, a woman, let's say the woman is making
close.
Say that again.
68,700.
Okay, so the average take home for a home is $68,000, right? And let's say using the information that Rochelle gave us earlier, right? So the woman makes 48,000, right? And then the man makes 20,000. That's 68,000, right? So let's give them one child, right? And let's just say the mom is working longer hours than the dad, right?
Yeah.
So the dad is probably the one picking up the kids from school, or let's just say she's a single mom. Let's say she's a single mom, right?
And she makes 68,000 by herself.
She makes 48. Let's give her 48. She makes 48,000. She's a single mom. This single mom now wants to find a man making $100,000 a year. Now, usually,
is she getting child support?
Let's say she is getting child support. It kind of doesn't matter because child support isn't a whole heap of money, right? So she wants a man making $100,000 a year, right?
And she's coming with a child on the table already.
Right. She's coming with a child. There's a high likelihood $48,000 a year isn't enough to pay for living, to pay for a child, and to, bring proper upkeep of oneself, right? It's hard to do it with $48,000 a year, but that's her. That's what she wants. In my eyes, that's not realistic. Now, let's
does she want a black man or a white man?
It doesn't even matter what she wants. Whether the man is black or white, if he's in the six-figure category, like low six figures, he wants a woman that carries herself a certain way. If you put the woman in the low six figures or high six figures, she still wants a man, right, that's at her level or better. Here's the problem with that, right? The problem with that is there are not a lot of men. Well, for a woman to get to a point where she's in this bracket of earning, right? She has to build certain character, right? They always say cream rises to the top. This woman has to build a certain type of character because she has to fight off other women and she has to fight off men to get to where she gets, right? So she has to build this kind of character where oftentimes it's a no-nonsense kind of character, right? Or she's about her business, right? And so when she meets a man who isn't about his business, he turns her off. When she meets a man who isn't making as much as she makes, he probably turns her off, right? And so her standards for what she wants from a man is all the way up here, which most men can't meet, right? And then the men that are up there, they don't want, oftentimes, a woman that's on their level, right? Because they want a woman that is going to be home and have dinner cook when they get home, or to be home to take care of the kids. So the population of men that's there for these women at these high earning levels, there isn't a whole lot of men up there for them to choose from. And so they end up being single, right? I think if more women had the perspective that Rochelle illustrated earlier, which is I'm doing me and I'm looking for a partner that's going to come in, whether he doesn't have to, like, I make money. So he don't have to come and take care of me, right? That's what you said, right, Rochelle? You don't want a man to come and take care of you. You want a partner. If he sees something and you want to chip in, go ahead. But if anything, you got you, right? Yeah. I think if most of these women had this perspective, it would be easy. Look, you know how much man they are in jail? You know how many men are in jail? You know how many men come out of jail and wish they could find somebody that they could ride or die with And I'm not saying to go get a jailbird. I'm just saying there are men out there. There are a lot of men out there, single men, that are security guards. That would be wonderful husbands. But because everybody looks down at the security guard, I pulled up in my BMW. I ain't going to be with no security guard. Okay, no problem. But this is the guy that's going to make sure the house is clean and the dinner's on the table by the time you get home. This is
and
the
respect,
guy that's
he's going to respect you, and he's going to take care of you.
Romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. And so
only 9% of, according to this website I was looking at, credit.com, only 9% of men make 100,000 or more. And that's not even a black man.
I was just about to say that. So here's the thing. So these women are out there looking for high-earning men, right?
In America.
And you're saying 9% of men make...
In America.
9% of men are high earners, right?
Mm.
So if you have these kind of categories where you want a black man, what I can't even imagine what of the 9%, what percent of that is African American?
Right.
You never find a man.
Tiny, right.
You understand where I'm coming from?
That is what's happening. People are dying alone.
That's a shame.
But that's so my thing is, where do we get this idea from then that women are trying for men to support them? Which men are they finding to support them? If it's 6% and the 6% is not even African American. So where is this, all these men that are just out there spending lavishly on women? Where are they?
Good question. Baba, where are they, bro?
I think that, like role models like Cardi B's and the city girls of today's time are creating the image that they are out there and that they can get them, and it has a whole bunch of people who are not as financially well off or who are not as beautiful thinking that they deserve the same thing once they put on a face full of makeup. So a part of that is the psychosis of makeup too. Makeup will have women thinking they're more beautiful than they are and that they can have
She asked you, where are the men? You're still talking about the women.
Where are the men that make 9%?
No. Where are the men that are taking care of these women if it's only 9% are able to? Where are all these women that are out there that you're saying is a pandemic of them out there? Where are they finding these men that's taking care of them? If most men ain't got no money to take care of women.
Or they're not, or they're side chicks.
Ooh. Next time on Wagwan, Pan Wagwan.
Yes, the side chick. We need to talk about that.